Rasika Duggal Manvi Gagroo and Sayani. Hello. Hi. Okay, so we'll all stand together and thank you. Please have a seat. Thank you so much for joining me today. So we're going to be talking about, being amazing creators. And I'm going to get straight into it. Again, no order of preference or love. Shriya is right here, so I'm going to start with you, Shriya. Any character of Shriya played in the last couple of years that resonated with you or you loved? Character name, that's what I want. Sweetie?
Not the name of the show. Yeah.
Sweetie?
Kashav, I would say.
Kashav for you? Kashav for you?
Kashav for me.
Okay, for you too. Amazing. Madhu? Madhu was amazing as well. Any preferences, guys? Which character do we speak about? Kashav! Alright, right there. Okay, so we're going to start off by asking you, how does one actually, as an actor, participate in the creative process and become a co-creator for a character like Kashav?
It's actually such a privilege when you do get the opportunity to be a co-creator, and I think all of us here enjoy that process the most, when we're able to sit down on the drawing board and from scratch be made to feel that we are involved in the characters. I've actually been very fortunate to have directors who have been collaborative, and it's not just about what the text brings to you. I think several times when I'm approaching my character, I love to ask questions which are completely mundane. What would my character be doing on a Sunday afternoon? I mean, you're not going to watch that in the show, but I think these conversations, my director Shefali Bhushan, we would chat for hours about who Kashav is, So I think sometimes I'm not very cerebral about my characters. I feel like I like to get an instinctive sense of who these people are, befriend them. But I do think that in order to feel that synchronicity with the character, it's very, very important to make the person your own. Because on text, of course, writers do a fantastic job. That's the most important job, to give you a sense of, who these people are. But I do feel like if it's that character, we'll all play it differently. So how does Shriya make Kashav her own? And it's something I often ask myself, because I remember last year I had the opportunity to play, say, a lawyer in Guilty Minds, or a sex worker in Taza Khabar, and in Broken News, a news reporter. And I was very careful about one thing, that none of it should come across repetitive, since they happen to be back-to-back releases. And when I discussed this with a colleague of mine, she said to me, "But that's your responsibility, to just make sure that the personalities are very, very different." So, yeah, if that answers your question.
Yeah, I think it more than does. Thank you so much for that. A big hand for that, please. That's amazing. नीति जी आपसे तो बात करनी ही पड़ेगी.
Yes, madam, sir.
Yes, madam, sir. Oh my God, can we give it up for Delhi Crime? अम्मी भी जीत लिया, मतलब अम्मी, this is amazing. So, same question for you, all right? What is it that you would do, or in this case specifically, you did do, so that character is Rasika playing this character?
There's some parts you read which you instinctively connect with, and they're interesting to you for that. With Neeti Singh, I felt that she really reminded me of myself in my college days, where I was so idealistic. I believed that hard work could change the world, and that I could change something in society. So Neeti does start out like that, and I felt that when I was in film school, the one thing I told myself was that I won't salute incorrectly if I'm ever given a police officer's role. I'll never wake up with makeup. Those were the two things that I had told myself I would never do. And so when we started shooting for Delhi Crime, I had a very, very short period to prepare for it, because it was all put together very last minute. The entire project sort of came together miraculously last minute. So I really wanted to shadow a police officer who was in the same position as Neeti Singh was, which is a probationer officer in police language. So I found this wonderful girl. and I shadowed her in season 1. And then she was promoted to the same position that Neeti Singh is promoted to in season 2. So when I called her up for season 2, of course, first she said, तुमने सब गलत किया. पुलिस ऑफिसर्स ऐसे नहीं होते हैं. तुम में वो स्मार्टनेस नहीं थी जो पुलिस ऑफिसर्स में होनी चाहिए. So I had to listen to a long lecture and I said, ठीक है, that was my interpretation, sorry. But can I come and, you know, be a fly on the wall in your office this time? Can I do it wrong again? So she said, हाँ आ जाओ, इस बार मैं अच्छे से बताती हूँ कि क्या करना है. So then I went and spent about 4 days with her again when she was ACP. This time she was posted in Chandigarh. And she was generous enough to, and by then we were friends, so I guess she was also comfortable that I'm just sitting in her office and watching her all day. And the kind of things that people bring to a police officer's office is just, it's very funny at one level and very heartbreaking also, because it's like, मैडम नेबर के साथ झगड़ा हो गया, उसने कचरा इधर रख दिया, मैंने बोला था यहाँ. That's one. And then the next moment you're sitting through a murder interrogation, so you're like, what is happening? This day is quite bizarre, you know. So it's those kind of things, and I could see the transformation in her, and I hoped to sort of bring that into Neeti Singh. So that was the kind of work that went into the police procedural part of it. But like I said, I connected with her instantly anyway. But also the things that I saw in this officer who I shadowed, and the way she was transforming, that also sort of found its way into playing with her.
Thank you so much for sharing. That's amazing. Siddhi Patel is a mood. Siddhi Patel would be me if I was rich.
Same. If I was
a middle class माटूंगा की लड़की नहीं होगी ना, then I would be Siddhi Patel. What helps Siddhi Patel, I feel, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, is also the mother figure and the father figure. That family unit, I think, comes together so beautifully. Does it help? I'm just changing the question a little bit for you. Does it help when you have co-actors who are there to give you your astitva? You know, like a Neeti, it's probably not there, right? Like you don't know what her parents look like, even with a Kashyap. But I think, does that work to your advantage? Did you enjoy that process of building it as a unit with 2 more actors there for you?
Yeah, for sure. Okay, first of all, I just want to say I'm loving this panel in general. When I heard that, you know, there's the 4 of us and you, I was like, we can shoot this in my living room, like we're all friends. Like, you know, so I'm super excited. Also, thank you for introducing us as creators and not female creators. So, because you can see we are females, but yeah. Now to answer your question, I think with me somehow it just happens that while I'm acting, I tend to form similar relationships with my co-actors as my character does in the show or the film. So, and that the same thing happened with Simone and Fahad. Both of them, they're also, you know, they're older, so they anyway had a slightly more protective vibe around me. Simone is extremely motherly, quite contrary to her image on screen. She's so it just I think automatically there's a sense of, you know, like us being a family unit. All our scenes are together. Even when we're shooting with the girls, Simone and Fahad don't know them that well, right? Like I know them, I've been shooting with them, and I tell them that, oh, you know, this one is this one is that. So there's a sense of closeness there that comes naturally, I think, but there's also obviously a lot of it that's already there in the text. So
I love the arc that, you know, it takes, and all of us, I mean, as women, you will echo this sentiment. We have, you know, tough relationships with our mothers, right?
Yeah.
And I think that where you come in the show and then you tell her how to lead her life,
yeah.
and not to really worry about it, I think it really, you know, resonated with all of us.
Yeah.
That switch of power in that sort of situation, how was that for you to do? Like, did you borrow from anywhere else in real life ever?
So, you know, the fact that we shot it through the pandemic, and I think the pandemic for me was this realization of just for everyone actually, just the concept of mortality, right? And we are all living away from our parents, and I was very scared for my parents. They were in Delhi, and Delhi was in a really bad condition during the second wave. So I remember, and there's also in general, as we are growing older, as we are evolving, there's a sense of seeing our parents as people and not just like, you know, the parents that we grew up with. They are people, they're flawed, but they've always had the best intentions. You know that, you know all of these things, but you start to realize it when certain things happen to you. So I think you know, this whole journey of Simone's character, starting on a new note, on a new romantic note, or a companionship note. I think somewhere as Siddhi, I was like, yeah, why not? Like, you know, she should be allowed that. It also comes from a female perspective, right? That she's someone who's had to deal with restrictions all her life, also the generation and all she belonged to. So suddenly you feel like, you know, I want to support that. I want to, as the daughter, and if the daughter is supporting her, who else does she need to convince? So yeah, it's the opposite of what happens with kids, right? We say the same, not opposite, it's exactly the same actually. When we, as kids, we want our parents to be on our side, the world can go take a hike, you know, and everything else will fall into place. It's the same with parents as well. So I think there was a little bit of drawing of just that idea of seeing our parents as individuals as well, which came from my own life, and the text.
It was very powerful. Thank you. Also, we hadn't seen it, you know, so beautifully done. So, congratulations.
Thank you.
Just taking a minute before I come to you, Shriya, but this is the crossover we do need, which is Mirzapur meets former shot, please.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Look at that, guys. That's what you should be tweeting or putting out on the gram at this point. Saying, you know, you're not dead. You're never dead. You know, I stopped watching that show after you died.
Flashback, no? We'll do.
In another life, but very exciting. Shani, I have a special place in my heart for Damini. Oh my God, I mean, that girl is